Hi, sixth grade. We're just going to do a quick review over conflict. If there's any of this that you're like, ooh, I don't remember that, make sure you add this to your notes. So just pause this at any time, but I'm just going to do a quick overview, reviewing each of these, as well as having you take like just a little quiz that goes over internal, external, man versus man, man versus self, man versus nature, and man versus society, and making sure you're able to identify those. And hopefully this helps you in knowing what you need to put on your goaled activities. After you get done with all of this, then you can work on your personalized learning unit. So this is just a visual here. So we have two types of conflicts. So before we get to that, there's internal and external conflict. But what is conflict? A conflict is a struggle between opposing forces. So there's two main kinds of conflict, internal and external. Okay, internal is a struggle that takes place in a character's mind. It is called internal conflict. For example, a character may decide between right and wrong or between two solutions to a problem. Sometimes character must deal with his or her own mixed feelings or emotions. So they say character versus self, but we've been referring to it as man versus self, which is the same thing. Once again, if you know this stuff, you don't need to write this down, but if you feel strongly like, ooh, I don't remember this, you can shorten this and put this in your notes. External is happening outside. So if you think of like the exoskeleton, that EX is outside covering for an exoskeleton, like on a bug. So external happens outside of that character. So it's a struggle between a character and an outside force is an external conflict. Characters may face several types of outside forces. The outside force may be another character, it may be the community or society. The outside force may also be the forces of nature. For example, a story might be the main character struggling against the Arctic cold, which would be man versus nature. So we have man, this says character versus character once again, man versus man, like Harry Potter and Voldemort. Character man versus nature would be like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz and the tornado, the twister. And then we have man versus society. So an example of that would be Shrek, where Shrek and everybody, the society is against him because he's an ogre. So what's the difference? So internal is just that, a conflict that happens internally, better known as man versus self. So that would be, thinking of like the good angel and the bad, and they're trying to help you decide, right? Sometimes if you've ever seen Emperor's New Groove, that would be within that, where he's trying to decide good or wrong. And external conflict is conflict that we can see physically. So we know that it would be man versus man, man versus nature, and man versus society. So kind of continuing on over here, this kind of shows a good visual of that. So there's two categories. So we have internal character or man versus self. So it'd be example, which we've watched a vocabulary on this, that it's their conscience, so the good and evil. And then external, man versus society. So there was example of Rosa Parks within that. Man versus man, which is Peter Pan versus Captain Hook, and man versus nature, which I can't read that. Oh, man is deserted on an island. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I don't think I have any more in there. Yeah, that's all I have for you. So go take the quiz to give me some feedback. That will be graded. So make sure you use your notes if you need that, or go back in this video. If you have any questions, let me know.